This is Roberto, 50 years old, the funniest man I have ever met. He was always making jokes and making people laugh. He had a great sense of humor, and everyone loved him because of his generosity. This is Luisa, 23 years old, a beautiful and outgoing young woman that was always with her friends, trying to live each moment at the fullest. She was that type of friend you want to have because she made you feel more alive. And this is Alex, only 13 years old, a recent teenager. He loved to read, and when he grew up, he wanted to be an architect and live in Brazil. And this is Carmen. Carmen, 48 years old, an amazing woman that was in love with life and treated everyone kindly and tenderly. So what do you think all of these four have in common? They could be family, friends, neighbors. From society point of view, Carmen had everything a woman could ever ask for. She had a family that adored her, 4 healthy children, and a well-paid job. What else she could ask for? She was a real role model, but what nobody knew is that she was fighting against a Great Depression and a personality disorder that caused her an unbearable suffering. Even though she spent many years fighting in this hard battle, Carmen committed suicide. Carmen is my amazing mother who committed suicide at the age of 48. By watching this video, would you ever say that she was depressed? Would you ever say that she had a personality disorder? Would you believe me if I told you that this video was only taken a few months she committed suicide? And this is what all of these 4 people have in common. Roberto, Luisa, Alex, and my mom committed suicide. Roberto suffered from a depression, Luisa suffered from a personality disorder, Alex from bullying, and my mom from a depression and a personality disorder. Statistically, 1 out of 4 has a mental illness. This means that if it's not you, it's somebody sitting next to you. More than 1 million people commit suicide each year. A person commits suicide every 40 seconds. Remember Alex, only 13? You must be thinking, what a strange thing. He was too young to do this. Well, suicide is the first cause of death between teenagers nowadays. You could have think that it was car accidents. That's what I thought. But suicide more than doubles the rate of deaths by car accidents. Also, out of every case of gender violence, there are 72 suicides. And out of every one that commits suicide, 95% of the people who commit it had a mental illness, 100% preventable. I bet you didn't know anything of this. This is because in Spain, there are non-written laws that ban talking about suicide in the social media. They're scared of the imitation effect. Well, I'm not scared, and I think it's necessary to have a preventing suicide plan in Spain. In fact, the World Health Organization extremely recommends to talk about suicide as one of the most important ways to prevent it. They even created a global plan that would reduce the deaths by suicide by a 10% in 2020. But the Federation of Mental Health in Spain rejected this plan, and they did not promote nor include any preventing measures for Spain. In Spain, there is no rigid protocol when a person goes to the psychiatrist asking for help. For example, if I go to the psychiatrist saying that I want to commit suicide or that I have even tried to commit suicide, it's up to the psychiatrist to decide what to do. In my mother's case, she went for asking for help and the psychiatrist didn't consider it necessary. Moreover, more than half of the people who have mental illness arise in childhood. Despite this, in the province of Alicante, where I'm from, there are only 8 beds for children with mental illness. Also, it is insane to believe that my mom had been paying for a life insurance all over her life. And when she passed away, they didn't give us any money to my 3 younger siblings and myself. And it's not so much about the money, that it is, but it's about the fact that my mom was diagnosed with 2 mental illness, and they didn't consider it. Seeing how official organizations treat suicide, it's no wonder how people treat suicide. People are scared to talk about it, and I can understand this because I was scared too. I was scared to say that my mom had committed suicide. And I would lie. I would say that it was cancer or a heart attack. And when I started saying the truth, people looked at me differently. They treated me differently. Since I talk freely about suicide and mental illness, you cannot imagine the amount of people, friends, classmates, neighbors that have come up to me and said that they have been also suffering and they had even tried to commit suicide. That they didn't ask for help because they were scared of what others might think. The other day, I met a woman. She was overlistening a conversation I was having with a friend about mental illness and about preventing suicide. After a while, she came up to me, she hugged me, and she said, "Thank you. Today, you saved my life." She told us that she had been suffering with a depression for over 5 years and that she didn't ask for help because she was scared of what others might think. She even said that she had tried to commit suicide. After a while, she told us that she had the strength to ask for help and the hope that everything was going to be all right. I just wished my mom had heard the same conversation, because maybe it could have saved her life. But not only my mom's life, the life of these 15 people that just committed suicide while I was talking. Suicide is preventable. We just need to change the way we see it and treat it. Something as small as a conversation can prevent it. Let's talk to prevent suicide.